ecosystem for everybody's own.
Exactly. Mike, can we open up for questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right back here.
Nate Exodite. Can you introduce yourself, Nate?
Yeah, sure. So I run a small consulting firm in Akron, Ohio, doing new product development, a lot of IoT devices as well. And so my question for the panel is, at what point in a startup or new venture do you know that you have confidence that you're ready for the investment?
I'll pass that. I'm not an expert with this. Go ahead.
I can take that if no one else wants to volunteer for that. I think the first thing to think about is what are the uses of proceeds needed at that time, and matching that to sources of proceeds that are tuned to the stage and risk level of that investment. So it's not there's no absolute answer without first narrowing it down that way. But then whatever the target investor is, you need to be able to prove your thesis instead of saying, I want your money to go prove my thesis. And you can do that in stages, incrementally. So it's not an absolute. But I would say an early stage organization is ready to seek investment when they have concrete arguments that they can crisply defend all the way from pre-seed, and then that advances through each successive financing.
When it's thinking through it, we often talk about the idea of the funnel and the tunnel, right? And the funnel is you're sitting over in this kind of ambiguous area where you've got a bunch of ideas and concepts that you're trying to pursue, right? And your job, your goal, is to narrow down what's in the funnel and get it into the tunnel, where you just relentlessly drive a handful of them to market, right? And, because people always say like, oh, the entire innovation process is a funnel, right? Like from start to finish. And it's like, could be, but it shouldn't be. It should probably be a funnel up front where you narrow it down as fast as possible, right? If you don't, if you want to really get this concept, I'm like a big believer in like lean startup, like read the lean startup book. Like a lot of the principles of funnel and tunnel management are, kind of come from that, right? And then get it down to the minimum set of things and run it through the process. But I think what's interesting is we have very specific criteria. Like for example, when startups come in, they're like, hey, would you want to work with us? And it's like, well, we want to see something around market size. We want to see proof of feasibility, right? Like our goal isn't, in the world of R&D, we're not in the world of R. We're in the world of D. Yeah, it's like so it's like we like to see like that technical feasibility, like you've proven something, right? And I think if you can just start out with that mindset of like, okay, I know there's a market for this because I've gone out, I've talked to people, I've vetted it, I've validated it, I've done some technical feasibility. That's a great starting point there. Like I've seen people go through this, oh, I need like a 70-page pitch deck or whatever, or 70-page report, like I'm justifying why I'm asking for the investment. I always take it down to two things. Show me you're solving a problem, right, that someone cares about, right? And show me that you've proven feasibility, right?
And a big enough market.
A big enough market, yeah.
And in terms of risk reduction too, one approach I did in the past was bringing in non-dilutive funding to minimize that risk even more. Because once you start taking on equity partners, things get different. So if you can bring in non-dilutive money through SBIR programs, there's a lot of money out there if you really look, and that can help. The problem is you have to write the grants and get them funded quick, but they can help in terms of really increasing the value of what you have and testing things on your own non-dilutive dollars, and then you can go to other partners as well.
I have just a quick question, Jerry, for you. But before I do that, so Brent just talked about R&D, and Nick Barrett from Case Western. I would think that on the R side, you're pretty strong in that area. Can you nod your head if that's the case? Okay, so, you know, when people come into the ecosystem with all kinds of ideas, we just have to get them to the right resource at the right time with the, you know, with the right information. And that's really our job. So Jerry, and I know there's only a limited amount of stuff you can say, but what percentage of persistent healthcare challenges that might be solved by IoT are currently being solved by IoT? In other words, how much penetration has IoT had in the healthcare space?
That's a good question. I would say, in terms of research that we're doing at the Cleveland Clinic, there's an extensive amount of work on algorithms and things that would maybe power and better use data. We're not doing so much in terms of developing new IoT devices at the Cleveland Clinic. We see a ton of different devices being used, and data now is starting to be used in, you know, disparate data sets are being brought together. I think on the consumer health side, we're moving forward. I test a lot of different devices and things, which I find, you know, tremendous value in. You know, different types of glucose sensors and things that can add value to other information that you can pull from wearables and things. I think on the consumer health side, we're moving along. I don't think on the healthcare side it's as mainstream yet. But that's my take.
Gotcha. Well, this has been a great panel. Thank you so much. What do you say?
Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. If you have questions or interest in, you know, exploring potential partnership or things, just reach out to me on LinkedIn and I'll connect. Thank you.
Thanks.